I was worried because I have nothing in particular necessarily to say, but I thought this format doesn't get viewed anyway, so no one's going to see this anyway. Um, what wants to be said? What is here? I've been opening more and more. Recognizing that I'm worrying less, planning less, trusting more in things to go as they do, resources to be there as they are. I am more and more consistently routing emotions and anything that hits me through the body. And dissolving with gratitude, release, courage, adventure, freedom. And remembering so many words of wisdom, the waves of high and low, because the bad days still come. And right now, my greatest revelation is love. I say I love you to the feeling in my body, to what comes at me, to my, if I'm feeling irritation, to hold that in a space of I love you. I recently, during a sound bath, had a moment of, the way it wants to be described is, I had an intense, focused moment of I love you, of the moment and of the expanding, disorienting feeling in my body. My child is being adorable. And you sneezed. um, um, toward the end of that sound bath, as things were coming to a close, or as she was kind of bringing us back, I changed from I love you. I thought, who is this I that loves? I love you. And I just thought, what do I mean by I love you? What I mean is enter. And I felt kind of the void fill me and enter into me. And for the next couple of days, I walked. I remembered the words of Angelo, I love you, Cheyenne, where he has said many times, it's not you who has the realization, because it's completely, it's almost not you, it's someone different who's now looking through the lens. So I felt like I was embodying the void looking through the lens of this vantage point. And the whole time it was an I love you of you are welcome to experience through this vantage point. Kind of like a full walking vessel of God experiencing life. And everything was a yes. it was interesting to catch the low on Saturday. It was especially hot and an exhausting day. Um, and I felt that old feeling of like, what is the point of being alive on a day like this? You just keep going because it's too much work to not, you know, the consequences are too high of ending it all. But like, it all feels so pointless. And I recognized it as like a dark night of the soul kind of feeling. And I was like, some people spend years feeling this way. I get to spend one day. I have that ebb and flow, and um, my days are so full that a day feels like a year. Um, and then today was, again, a gorgeous day, kind of a bouncing back from yesterday. Most days are not excruciating. I don't know about that. I don't. I don't keep track of this stuff anymore. Just I love I love the words of wisdom in those moments. That even in the day where it was difficult and irritating, I held space for that and said it was within a container of I love you. Not all day, but there were moments in which I remembered of like to soften into that. There's a video that I caught by Matt Garrett also. I might, if I find the links to these, I might add them into the detail, where he was talking about being on the edge of um, the loving of yourself and the deepening into yourself being the frontier on which, you know, walking that line and deepening into that and having that be the next thing where there's an unknown. There's no lesson that teaches this except for that encouragement of deepening into yourself. So these last few days have felt like a continual deepening into myself. And every morning I take that opportunity that the body gives when you're between sleep and awake to embody anything that comes up in that space and to let it expand past disorientation and to overtake. And so there's been little waves of unbinding where everything is just becoming easier, less worrisome, and I'm able to be more present with myself, with my daughter. There are people in my life who are struggling right now. My mom is having a really hard time right now. Um, my aunt's mad at me and I'm not picking up the phone. So, um, and I have friends who are struggling, and um, I'm noticing that I'm more able to be present, to be fully compassionate, and not resentful, like with my aunt, um, and just to see people where they are. And there's less and less fear of, there's more recognition that there's not a self here, that this is just processes. So whatever gets going here, I recognize it as a mechanism that's getting going. And, either it runs its course or I tap it on the shoulder and say, hey, you're. um, One of the analogies that has come up is a cloud is just, how did I put this? Sometimes a cloud takes itself so seriously that it forgets that it was only ever sky. A cloud is just a condensation of sky. Um, And consciousness, or, this selfness, is just a condensation of mechanisms that forms into this, it's a nebula that's synthesized somehow into an I, but it ever only was the everything. And it's fun to click into that whenever I'm condensing a little bit. In the car, it helps, like when there's someone in front of me, it helps for me to remember I'm not confined by this space, because my experience of this body is just as finite as my experience of the sky that I see. It's the same atmosphere. This is atmosphere, that is atmosphere. This experience is atmosphere. And so I'm not confined by this locality. So it's been fun to exist. It's been fun to keep deepening and to, I've been making great connections in my community, in my Be Free Center community, where we dance and there's sound baths and there's yoga, and there is this kind of air of conversation, of deepening within yourself and true compassion toward self and others, and true presence. I'm so thankful to have that space where I'm reminded and encouraged and loved, and get to practice love, and have the greatest of friends. So I'm very thankful, and it's been fun to share with you where I've been at. And here's to another week of waves hitting the beach and being there for it all.